Do you guys want to be featured in an upcoming video? Well, all you got to do is go over to the community tab and comment on the most recent post your hottest take that you have on the Washington Commanders for this upcoming season. Your hot take will be featured in my upcoming video, Buy or Sell, where I'm reading out your hot takes and basically deciding whether I'm going to buy it, which means putting stock into it, or if I'm going to sell it, meaning I don't want no parts of your hot take. So this is a great way to be involved with the channel and get your name out there. So go over there and comment if you want to be a part of the video. Who is on the hot seat? That is the best question for a lot of teams around this time of year, because every single season there are players that didn't perform the prior season and are now on the last chance with not only the fan base but potentially the team. And this roster that the Washington Commanders have constructed is one of the better ones I've seen over my lifetime. So there are not that many guys on the hot seat, but there are a couple. As in today's video, we're going to go over a couple of Washington Commanders players that I personally think is on the hot seat headed into training camp and even potentially the season. Now, I do want to make it clear that being on a hot seat does not necessarily just mean you're going to be cut right now. It can also mean a reduced role, less snaps for you being benched and replaced by another player. So there are a couple of players on this list that may not necessarily be cut right now, but also could be benched and buried on the roster. Now that that's cleared up, let's talk about it.
The way that we live is not for everybody, man.
Nah, that ain't it, y'all.
How do you think the rest of Jaden Daniels' career is going to go? If we're, 6, 7 games into Jaden Daniels' career and he's already milking injuries, like...
Stop saying my name, you dick riding bastard.
YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here. We have the Washington Commanders video, and in today's video, I'm coming on here with a video where we're going to be talking about a couple of Washington Commanders players that I personally think could be on the hot seat headed into this upcoming season. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload new videos like this to the channel. We're on the road to 11,000 subscribers. Also, subscribe to my new NFL channel, 4th and 1. This content is going to be dropping on that channel very soon, and I think you guys will love it. Let's get to it. Honorable mention for me could be Andrew Wyle. Now, the reason why Andrew Wyle isn't on this list is because this was a foregone conclusion. We already knew Andrew Wyle wasn't going to be back here in Washington after they basically barely re-signed him. He had to take a pay cut in order to be re-signed this year, but he's on the final year of his deal, and unless he plays absolute outstanding ball this year, I don't see him being back in the burgundy and gold next year. Now, Andrew Wyle is serviceable, don't get me wrong. Will he have an NFL job if he in fact leaves the burgundy and gold? Of course. But when you make upgrades to the offensive line and when you're really just holding it down for injured Sam Cosmi, and you already upgraded your tackle position both with Laramie Tunsil and also Josh Connolly Jr., there's really no need for Andrew Wyle. Even though he is very versatile, you also got two young guards inside, and Sam Cosmi coming back, and also Brandon Coleman that you feel really good about. You go out and you get a Nate Herbig as well this offseason. So Andrew Wyle's days in Washington could be over soon. That being said, Andrew Wyle did have a much better season last year compared to the first year where it was a total disaster under Eric Bieniemy. So maybe he did turn a corner at times last year, but again, it's less about his performance and more about just the guys that we have around him. It's pretty stacked on the offensive line, so I think he'll play his last year out here and then probably hit free agency next year. The next player that could be on the hot list for me is tight end Ben Sinnott. Now, I know a lot of people is probably like, Juan, how is a second-year tight end on the hot seat for you? I'm gonna be completely honest, bro. It's because the expectation level for Ben Sinnott for me was different than probably most of you all. I fully expected Ben Sinnott to come in and contribute to this offense more than what he did, especially after Adam Peters told him, yeah, you gonna be our Cow's use check. I expected, if anything, him not being involved as a tight end to at least be getting some handoffs as a fullback, being the lead blocker on a lot of, certain packages, maybe some fullback screens or something. Overall, I expected him to be much more involved into this offense. I'm a tight end guy, so that's why he was my other favorite draft pick from the 2024 NFL draft class. The same way I felt about Cole Turner. I thought it was something with him. Ultimately turned out to be nothing. I'm just fiending for the next Jordan Reed. We need a tight end to be the safety blanket for our quarterback, and I'm hoping Ben Sinnott could turn into that. Now, with him being on the hot seat, in my opinion, again, does not mean he's going to be cut. He's still going to be on this roster. However, with us bringing back Zach Ertz and with extending John Bates, and there's talks about him being more involved in the passing game, if Ben Sinnott doesn't have a strong training camp preseason, it could be a little bit less action for him than we thought, because normally in the second year you would expect the guy to get more increased snaps and roles on the specific side of the ball, but it may decrease or may stay the same as it was last year if he doesn't come out firing on all cylinders in training camp. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, Juan, how is Ben Sinnott on your list but not Luke McCaffrey? And I'm going to just be completely honest with you. It's because I didn't expect anything out of Luke McCaffrey last year in his rookie year. It was only his third year playing the wide receiver position, so he was quite new to the position. So I was like, okay, no expectations for him this year. Would he do? Anything that he does is a bonus for me. And he's had a strong offseason as well. They said that he had a really good minicamp and he could really see a surge in playing time at the wide receiver position. So I heard a lot of great things about Luke McCaffrey this offseason. And Ben Sinnott, I just want to see him be involved because I have a absolute high ceiling for him. So anything he does in his year two is going to be amazing. But again, considering the fact that we added some pieces around him, it could decrease his playing time if John Bates steps up, if Zach Ertz continues to do what he did last year, and obviously the wide receiver position took a real good upgrade this offseason. So hopefully Ben Sinnott gets it together, but he is on the hot seat for me. The next player that's potentially on the hot seat is cornerback Marshon Latimore. Now, I did just make a video on him, so personally I think he'll bounce back this season, but we gotta call a spade a spade. And even himself said, hey bruh, I was hurt last year, but you still can evaluate me and hold me to the standard because I was out there playing, so that's no excuse. So you can hold him to the standard of he should have played better last year. However, he didn't. This year he's fully healthy, and I expect Marshon Latimore to turn back to that Pro Bowl, all-pro potential kind of cornerback. But that being said, he is potentially on the hot seat because if he doesn't work out here in Washington this year, we're going to cut him and he's going to be a free agent again, and it's going to look like Washington wasted a third-round pick getting him. But in my opinion, personally, I don't think it's a waste of a third-round pick because at least you took a chance and you were aggressive on a guy of that caliber. It just so happened didn't work out. And if you do a survey for all Washington Commanders fans on who they feel like is on the hot seat headed into training camp in this season, a lot of them are going to say Marshon Latimore. Yes, they know he was hurt, but it's the expectation that you hold him to that you still feel like he needs or can reach. But a lot of people still believe in Marshon Latimore like myself, so I'm not really worried about him being cut or him not making the roster because it's Marshon freaking Latimore. Who are we kidding? He's going to make the roster, but you have to throw him in there because he's essentially on a one-year deal. And he's out to prove to the Washington Commanders franchise that they made a right decision by trading for him. And if you want to throw in Deebo Samuel or Laramie Tunsil on your list, feel free because those guys can be somewhat in the same boat. If they perform, they get paid. If they don't, they get cut after the season. So it was basically just a one-year rental. The next player that's on the hot seat for the Washington Commanders is none other than Brian Robison. This is the most obvious one, and I'm pretty sure everybody has this player on their hot seat list. Brian Robison is headed into the final year of his contract, and not only is he trying to prove himself for the Washington Commanders, but he's trying to potentially audition to other teams once he hits free agency next season. Brian Robison is no stranger to adversity. As we know, since coming into the NFL, he's faced a ton of it. But when he's on the field, he's solid. He's okay. The thing is, Brian Robison isn't healthy for a full 17-game season, and that's the biggest blow for me. It's less about his physicality or what he lacked thereof in terms of speed. It's like your best ability is availability, and you're always banged up around week 8, week 9, and it's like you're never the same after that. And B-Rob already doesn't possess a specific skill set that's just out of this world in terms of speed. That's why a lot of people want to get rid of him or at least add to the backfield for some type of speed, agility, cutting on a dime, that kind of running back, because B-Rob doesn't have that in this game. And I do feel as though there is a spot for him, not only just on this roster, but in this league. But he's going to have to go out and earn it, man. He has not had 1,000 yards since coming into this league. The last time Washington had 1,000-yard back was Antonio Gibson. So we're fiending for some type of action at the running back position. And truth be told, do I want it to be Ja'Cory Crosby-Murray? Yes, but at the end of the day, whoever it is, if it's Brian Robison, just step up and help out Jaden Daniels in terms of the run game. Brian Robison is a damn good pass catcher out the backfield, and he's a solid run blocker, but his vision and his speed and his agility lacks, which makes him a subpar average running back. Now, I did just bring up Ja'Cory Crosby-Murray because that's somebody that can light a fire under Brian Robison's tail, because a lot of fans like myself believe in Bill's ability to come in and potentially start at the running back position at some point this upcoming season. So already having a loaded backfield, but then adding somebody like Bill to it could potentially make Brian Robison feel motivated to prove that he belongs not only here in Washington, but belongs in the league. And the last guy that I think is on the hot seat for the Washington Commanders is another obvious one. It's Daron Payne. Since getting that contract extension, since having 11.5 sacks a couple of seasons ago, Daron Payne has totally disappeared. And what they always say is true. Stats doesn't tell the whole story, especially for a defensive tackle. But we've watched every single game post that contract extension, and Daron Payne hasn't necessarily done anything in terms of getting sacks, pressure on the quarterback. He's been okay in the run game, but when you're getting paid that much money, I need you to be up there with one of the best defensive tackles in the league discussion. And quite frankly, he hasn't been in those discussions. And I think this is the last year Washington is trying with him, as I think he could potentially follow in the same footsteps as his former Washington Commander and Alabama teammate Jonathan Allen. Earlier this season, Washington got rid of Jonathan Allen due to the contract, and I think the same thing could be for Daron Payne if he doesn't turn up this year. Washington has a potential out of his contract after this upcoming season, so this is a huge season for 9-4. And I'm not trying to be harsh when I say this, but they're saying Daron Payne looks good in mandatory mini camps. Leave that to the rookies. Leave that to the second year, third year guys. I don't care if a guy in year 8 is looking good in mandatory mini camps. You're supposed to. What do you look like come game time? And that's the reason why, again, it sounds harsh coming from me, but it's true. Like, you're held to a different standard. You got the bridge. You're supposed to be a leader of this defense and team. I need you to step up. And who knows, maybe Jonathan Allen was holding Daron Payne back, and now that he's the interior leader of this defensive line, and he got Johnny Newton and Javon Kinlaw to his side, maybe he could turn back the clock and get 9, 10, 11 sacks. And even if you don't get the sacks, just get pressure on the quarterback, affect his passes, be an enforcer in the run game. Daron, show me why you were getting paid when you got 11.5 sacks a couple years ago, Slum. But there you all have it. Let me know what you guys think about this video down below in the comment section. Who's on the hot seat for you headed into the 2025 season for the Washington Commanders? As always, me and boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload new videos like this to the channel. We're on the road to 11,000 subscribers, so that'd be greatly appreciated if you can reach that goal as soon as possible. Thank you so much. You have a blessed one. Stay safe. Be easy out there. Peace.
Never gave a ballin' like I'm Deon, throw the bomb, G. That's IG, my jersey never seen a laundry.